Hello there everybody, how's it going? It's Jessie from Jessie Marie Does Stuff here on FlossTube, coming to you on this Wednesday, March the 20th, 2019, with my next update video. Happy first day of spring if you are in the Northern Hemisphere. Spring kicks off. I'm not going to talk about the weather because Sheila from Sunshine Stitchers would shiver hearing how cold it is, and Kim up in North Dakota? Yes, North Dakota. I get confused because my stepdad's in South Dakota. She would be probably pretty warm to hear the temperature here today. So I'm not going to talk about the weather. Happy first day of spring. Before I get into anything, I have decided to do a best new thing in the world today. Every now and again I pilfer that idea from Michelle Bendy Stitchy, and today I am doing so, but I've got to do it now because it's going to change, and here I'll show you. So I am having a cup of tea, and this is my new coffee mug, tea mug, and you can see it's the Marauders map. And this is one of those fancy color changing mugs, so when it gets cold it will change, and so I'll show that to you. It doesn't last very long. It's not a super insulated mug, so it doesn't hold the heat for very long. So I'll be able to show you the after once it gets colder. I have Adagio chai tea in my mug, in case you're wondering. I've already had my coffee for the day, and I'm trying to sort of not limit my caffeine intake, but keep an eye on it, and tea has much less caffeine than coffee does, so there we have it. So first things first, I just want to say thank y'all. I received a lot of messages of love and support and whatnot over the last week or so since I posted my last video. I can't say that I am 100% out of it. I can't say that I'm 100% like better, but some world events have helped me gain some perspective, and I am remaining hopeful, and I'll leave it there. I'm remaining hopeful. We have some options as far as everything is concerned, and so I'm staying hopeful, and so I'm not 100% out of it yet, but I'm feeling a lot better, and you will see that. You will see that reflected in the stitching, and hopefully in my manner. Hopefully I am a little bit more with it today. So anyway, but thank you for all the love. I received some private messages and some comments on the video, and it's super heartwarming. So what do we have to talk about today? No FFOs. Still haven't gotten on the FFO train. I also do not have books because I'm still reading the same thing, and I'm further along, but like I'm not going to tell you everything that happened over the last 100 pages. That's kind of silly. So yeah, nothing to report in books. What else do we have? I'm not doing thanks for the mention this week because I didn't prepare anything. I don't have notes. I watched a ton of FlossTube this week. You'll see that in the description box, including a couple new channels and a couple of new to me's. But yeah, no thanks for the mention because I didn't keep track of anything. I was just stitching and kind of in my own world a little bit. So anyway, so feel free to check out the channels that I have listed. I list them every week. The FlossTube channels that I have watched in the previous week, check those out. And I will try to pick up thanks for the mention next week. And I'm sorry for the lack of it for the last couple weeks, because I know that some of you kind of really like that. So there is that. And no Q&A. So I do have like, I don't know, 15 projects to show you between what I've worked on and Magical Stitches homework this week, what my plans are for that, and then my plans for the upcoming week. So yeah, quite a lot to cover as far as projects are concerned. Then I have some Nashville Market haul, very exciting. I have a knitting update, but it's going to be very brief, and then I'm going to briefly show you my diamond painting. And we'll talk about it when we get there. But so yeah, that's what we've got going on today. So let's just go ahead and get started, and we are going to go into the works in progress. When last we spoke, I was in the midst, like literally smack dab in the middle of my rotation with Forever and Ever by Cottage Garden Samplings. And I was working on that through Friday afternoon, and then I was going to switch on to something else. So this is living in my Diddly Daddle Designs bag. This beautifulness. Very spring-like. This is very, very spring-like. Lovely colors. Gorgeous interior. Yeah. So here is what... Oh, I've got my working copy attached. So here is what that will look like finished. This beautiful, beautiful design. Now the designer behind Cottage Garden Samplings, her dad was in hospital for a stroke, I think is what it was. And so she went to be with him while he was in hospital. And so she took a break from releasing these because she didn't take anything with her while she was with her dad, and she wasn't focused on work at the time, which like totally understood. But she did just yesterday, I think, post the preview of the next one to release, number 9. So we are coming towards the end of the series, and it's beautiful. I can't even remember what it is, but it's beautiful, and looking forward to it. So anyway, this is Forever and Ever, Northern Cardinal and Christmas Rose. And I am stitching this using the DMCs on 32 count Belfast in Vintage Winter Sky by Lakeside Linens. And I did not reach my goal. That's going to be a common theme this episode. I did not reach my goal. But that's all right. I'm okay with it. So here's where I got to. And actually, even if I had devoted all of Friday to this and I had stitched as much as I do sometimes, I still wouldn't have reached the goal, and I'll explain that here in a second. But I did get this big leaf done, and I think that turned out really pretty. And this leaf and the little flower bud there. So that flower bud is actually the reason why I was never going to be able to get this quarter of the design done. One of the colors in there is 3722, I think, and it's also called For in the House. And I am 100% out of 3722. I don't know how it's possible that I am 100% out of anything, but I am 100% out of it. I might have some in a kit for a project that I'm not working on this year, but I wasn't about to dig through all 74 projects or something like that. Like, I wasn't about to do that. So I was able to pilfer enough, just enough to finish out the flower bud from Stargazer, because I knew that I had a little bit of it in Stargazer, and I don't need it anymore in Stargazer. So I pilfered it to finish the flower bud, but it's also called For in the House. And I did not have enough to do the big section in the house. So there was no way I was going to get my goal accomplished. And it's all right. It's all right. This project is going to make a comeback several times this year, because this is a big focus project for me this year. It's a Stitch 9 challenge. It's a year of whips. It's one of my favorite projects. It's going to get some love. Never fear. And this fabric is pretty bluey. It's like a blue steel gray color, kind of. Almost purple. So that is Forever and Ever. Okay, so I told y'all last week that on Friday afternoon, after I reached my goal on Forever and Ever, I was going to pull out the Prairie Schooler alphabet to do for Magical Stitches homework. Well, there was no way, like I just said several times, that I was going to get the goal done. So about noon is when I switched to the Prairie Schooler alphabet. So this is just the ABC booklet because this is the one that I'm working from. I was focused primarily in B is for Blackbird, but I also had to come down here and do a little bit in C is for Cow because I didn't have enough brown stitches. So that's what these 3 letters will look like. And I'm stitching this on 40 count Newcastle linen in platinum from Zweigart, using the DMCs as called for. And like I said, I was doing this for homework, 300 stitches in brown for chocolate representation and 300 stitches in a project that has an animal with claws or talons. And so that's what I worked on this for. And I made some really good progress. So the pie itself is done, including all the blackbirds in it. And 3 of my blackbirds even got beaks. These 2 still look a little weird, but that's all right. And I got the first longest line of the pie plate done. And then I did this blackbird in here and the text a little bit over here, and then you can see this just chunk of 3371 for the cow. So 600-ish stitches, a little bit more than, and that's where I got to. I managed to get it done Friday night, which was a bit of a surprise, but 1 strand over 2 on 40 count, you get a lot of stitches out of that. 1 piece of thread, even my short lengths, go for a long time. So I was able to get a lot done in a relatively short amount of time. I contemplated sticking with this and working on it Saturday morning, like I had talked about maybe I would need to do to try to get the block finished, but 1, I was kind of over it. 2, I figured that would be too big of a push to try to get this whole block finished in Saturday morning. Like that was going to be a big ask. And 3, I was ready to move on to my next project. So there is the Prairie Schooler alphabet. And this is going to come out just, several times throughout the year. It's going to have to so that I can get my goal accomplished on it, which is through the D is for drum block. Saturday started my Beauty and the Beast rotation, and this is a pattern by Donna Stitch. So let me show you a preview of the design. This was my next Whip Go Focus project, my second for the month of March. And Donna Stitch is taking an undetermined break. She had talked about the fact that she was going to come back mid-January, and she hasn't. No knowledge on my part as to what's going on there, but I hope that she's okay. I hope that she and her family are doing all right. So here is the preview of the pattern, and my goal for this for the year is to work on it for 5 days. And I have now done that. And I did a lot. I did a lot of stitching on this in the last 5 days. Saturday, Danny went to his brother's house and they played some board games, so I stitched a lot. And the other thing is that because this is large blocks of color, it goes real fast. It's kind of boring. It gets a little bit monotonous. And it's a little tedious because of the geometric shapes and whatnot. But nonetheless, I got a lot done. So here is my final progress. Now today is my last day, but it's off the frame, and I'll explain that here in a minute. So I got the rose done, kind of. I mean, the main body of the rose is done. This petal down here is still missing a chunk of that pink color, that falling petal there. And I also haven't done the white for the little accent bits to show like sparkle on the rose. So there's still a bit to do, as well as the stem and more leaves. But I decided to work this way to try to eat up some of the 3808. I went through a whole skein of 3808, and I'm not a fraction of the way through this project. This design is big. It's like 200 some by 200 some, and they use a lot of 3808. I know that y'all have heard this before. It's kind of like Prairie Schooler. Prairie Schooler and 3371 are best buds. Ariel from Donut Stitch and 3808 are best buds. And I might have to follow in Kim's footsteps and get a cone, because otherwise I'm going to need another like 20 some odd skeins, I think, is what she calls for. Yeah. But I went through a whole skein, and this is what I got out of it. I love the way this looks. It's really pretty. It's just boring. The whole time I was working on this, I was thinking about Lisa's stitching and such. She started this last year, maybe 2017. I don't remember. Lisa, let me know. And we're in kind of a similar spot. She's further along than I am, even though I started this in Mania 2016. She's got this bit done. Anyway, so I'm working on this, and I was thinking about Lisa and New Zealand. And, yeah. That's where some of my perspective came in. Because that was just heartbreaking. Okay, so this is beautiful, and I love it, and my goal is met. So this project goes away for the rest of the year. Unless I decide to bring it out, but I doubt that I will. Because I really like working through this list of whips. Oh, I'm going to show the back. Let me show you the back. I mean, it's just big blocks of color, so not a whole lot going on there. So anyway, so there's that. Let's do a WhipGo update. I barely use my Happy Planner, but I am keeping up to date with my WhipGo board. And so this is what we've got. So Jingles, Fantasy Sal, and Forever and Ever are dotted in the corners because they've been called, but I haven't met the goals yet. And then those that are boxed in, the goals are met. So this is a big contender for possibly my first bingo. I don't know, because elephants, the goal is to finish that. So we'll see. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So that is my WhipGo update. In order to meet all of the goals on the 36 projects that I picked at the beginning of the year, I needed to do 3 a month. And I have 4 done, 3 marked, but 4 done. So my odds aren't looking too good, but that's all right. It's all good. It's all good. Okay. Next, let's move into plans. In plans, I just told you guys that Beauty and the Beast is technically supposed to still be on my frame today. I did work on it this morning, but I took it off the frame. I set the goal kind of midweek to try to get a page done. I talked about it briefly in my last video that I wanted to get a page done, but I really set the goal down to get a page done. It's not going to happen. With the way that I stitch, the order in which I like to do things, it's not going to happen. And this week's homework for School of Magical Stitches is a little bit involved. And so I thought, okay, my ultimate goal for Beauty and the Beast was to put in 5 days effort, and I've done that now. So regardless of how much time I put into it this morning, I can move on. I can happily move on, and I can get started on my homework. This is something that I'm going to need to get going on because it's kind of a lot. And it's also not as simple as previous weeks have been in previous homeworks. So let me go through what each of the tasks are and what my homework is. This week we are looking at elective courses. So in third year you can start taking some electives. And the 5 that we're looking at this week are divination. Let me see if I can remember them all. Arithmancy, Muggle studies, study of ancient runes. I knew I wasn't going to make it through all 5. Care of Magical Creatures. Good grief. My favorite course, and I forgot it. Anyway, so those 5 courses. Mandatory is to do 3 of them. And if you don't have something to fit, then you can do penalty stitches. Optional is all 5. And if you do all 5, then and without penalty stitches, so doing them exactly for what they're called for, then there's bonus points involved. And I have no idea what the point situation is. And it's 200 stitches into each of these projects. These are complex. Like, it's not as straightforward as like brown stitches or your least favorite project. It's really not. It's not that. And also storytelling, kind of complicated. Like, not going to happen. The project just has to fit. So I am doing all 5, of course, because that's the Hermione in me. Of course I'm doing all 5. And so let's go through each of the courses and what my plans are for each of them. So for arithmancy, I am doing Stitch and Mommy's temperature balloons. And so here's just a black and gray mock-up of what it will look like finished. And mine is on 32 count Belfast in Snowdrifts by Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. And here is where I left off. So I still have a chunk of February to put in. I also have the basket on this first balloon, so that'll probably get me to 200 stitches. If not, we're 20 days into March, so I can start putting in some March information. This I picked for arithmancy because, first of all, the weather, which is what this whole pattern is based on, is there's all sorts of predicting and whatnot that goes into weather forecasts. And a lot of times they use numbers in order to do that. So that's sort of a Muggle application of arithmancy. But this pattern is so mathy. It's so geometric. And I even said to Sarah, I'm like, your math skills with this, like, props, because I can imagine that took some brain. Each of these balloons is shaped a little differently, and they're colored a little differently. And I just think it's really cool how geometric it is. So that's my project for arithmancy. Okay. I'm gonna have to try to go through these a little bit faster because y'all know me. Okay, up next is Muggle Studies. And I'm going to start this one off with Jemima, I'm sorry. If I can find a copy of this kit, I will send it to you. I was watching your FlossTube number 3. She's the Rocking Stitcher. If y'all aren't watching Jemima, like, go watch her. She's fabulous. And she was talking about this kit and how I enabled her, and I was like, oh, I should change this project because she had a problem and she couldn't get it. Anyway, this is Glory of Autumn by Dimensions. And so I'm doing this for Muggle Studies because a water turbine, that's totally a Muggle technological advancement. There's no getting around it. I'm pretty sure that if that was Wizard developed, it would be much more efficient and probably still in use today and much more automated. So there's that. And this I am stitching on 28 count antique white cashmere linen that I subbed out, or I subbed in rather, when I subbed out the kit fabric. And so here's where I'm starting from. And this project will get at least 200 stitches shortly. So there's that. And my goal for this project is just 5 days by the end of the year, so I'll put in a day on it. And for me, a day is not 24 hours. It's not a certain number of stitches. It's nothing like that. It's just if I work on it today, that counts for a day. Okay, so there's Muggle studies. Next is divination. And divination is the study of like predicting your future based on the stars or tea leaves or gazing into a crystal ball, etc. And so I will be working on Stargazer by Mirabilia. She is totally looking at the stars, wondering about her future. Hopeful, optimistic, just wondering about her future. Now this is my next project in my whip rotation, so it just kind of worked out nicely. And this is the project that I will start working on for 5 days starting tomorrow. This is on a 32 count Belfast in Florin by Chromatic Alchemy. And I'm doing a Virginia Tech conversion. So there we have it. After the events, after the tragedy itself, a local music group made a song called Forever Changed. And one of the lines that gets to me every April, I listen to it every April, but one of the lines that gets to me is, where do we go from here? So it's very fitting, I think. Okay, up next is the study of ancient runes, and so this is ancient writings, and so I am going with a Quaker Long Dog Samplers, Opus 2, aka Maggie. Cannot wait to get to this. Yep, I'm very excited. And this was approved. Quakers were approved because Quaker is a very specific period of time. I mean, it's essentially a belief system, but the Quakers were prominent at a very specific period of time in our history. And there are symbols built in, like each of these motifs has some sort of symbol to it. I gotta tell y'all, I tried to look up like what these Quaker symbols might mean, why they were put into ancient Quaker samplers. I couldn't really find anything definitive. But I know, I mean, some of these are prolific in Quaker samplers, like these flowers shaped like this, and the very geometric shapes going on here. I thought about using this for the arithmancy because, I mean, these are very geometric shapes, very precise and symmetrical. So we'll see. I might change my mind, but nonetheless. So this is what I'm doing for Study of Ancient Runes. This is on 32 count linen from MCG Textiles. I think it's called Oyster is the colorway. I'm stitching this using DMC 924. My goal for this project is to finish it this year. I totally think I can do it. Just need to spend some time on it. So I'm going to put in at least 200 stitches here this week. So there's that. And then finally, the last course is Care of Magical Creatures, which I would be totally into. I'm just saying, I would be totally into that. This is the Fantasy Style by Lakeside Needlecraft and Duran Jones. Because of course, all of these are, well, I mean, except for these two, are creatures that they would study in Care of Magical Creatures. And in fact, spoiler alert, in the future, Hagrid is unable to teach for a school term, and the substitute, they talk about unicorns. But we know that Hagrid is a fan of dragons, and I'm sure gnomes and elves and phoenixes are all covered. So anyway, so there's that. Care of Magical Creatures, Fantasy Cell. I'll probably try to get my extra credit done with this project at the same time. Not at the same time, but like I'll put in 200 stitches for homework and then another 200 for extra credit while the project is on the frame, just to get that done, because I know I have this pegged for a project that sucks the life out of you. So there's that. I wanted to work on a project with a lizard because the blast ended Scroot, but that's not till book 4, so that's all right. So those are my plans for homework this week. Then I have Stargazer, like I said. My rotation with Stargazer starts tomorrow, and it runs through Monday. However, Monday is the 25th, and that is Emily's birthday. So I will be getting going on my goat load. Now, a whole bunch of people are already done because the sale technically officially started on March 1st. I chose to hold off a little bit so that I could work on it actually on her birthday. So this is living in my Momly bag, my most recent, that I wasn't supposed to buy, but I did. And as y'all know, I am doing 4 of these animal stacks by Plum Street Samplers, and they are all on 32 count Belfast in Colonial Parchment by Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. And this was my start at the end of last year on Sheep Heap. So that's where I've started from with that. And Goat Load is going to go right next door. I haven't yet picked my colors for this, but I'll do that before Monday. And so this is Goat Load. Sorry for all the glare. I love all of the renditions of this. All of them are so beautiful, and I can't wait to get going on my own. Yeah, so cute. I would really love to be able to finish this on next week, but I don't know if that's necessarily going to be possible. So we'll see. It's kind of my first cheeky new start of the year. I mean, it's not really a new start because the Animal Piles is a project in and of itself, but nonetheless, it's kind of a new start. It's a different chart. So that is what I will be working on at the beginning of next week. And then next Thursday, I'm of 2 minds. I was thinking that I might work on Stargazer halfway through Monday, and then Monday afternoon switch to Goat Load, and work on Goat Load until it's done, which I think I could do in probably 3 or 4 days, maybe? I don't know, it's a pretty small stitch, so it's possible I could get it done in a few days. Or I can do what I was supposed to and start Goat Load first thing Monday morning and then pick up my 5th day on Stargazer on Thursday. I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see what I actually decide to do. Depends on where I'm at with Stargazer Sunday night, I guess. So that is it for the immediate plans. School of Magical Stitches homework this week is going to get worked on at some point today, tomorrow, before the end of the weekend. I'll get those done. That's not a problem. So that is everything as far as the projects that I have to show you. Before we do stash, I have a mug update. It has gone completely away. And so it says there, I solemnly swear that I'm up to no good. I love this mug. I was so excited about it. I wanted a Harry Potter color changing mug because it's just magical. And I had one that was Lumos and Nox, that changed from Lumos to Nox, in my Amazon cart, but it was only a 10-ounce mug. That's not going to work. This is a 16-ounce mug, so I got this from Amazon if y'all are looking for, if you're wanting it. Stash acquisitions. aka Nashville Needlework Market Haul. I haven't done the whole Nashville market purchasing ever before. And this was equal parts terrifying and exciting all at once, because I went into this with my Stitch from Stash in mind, but there was one thing that I absolutely had to have. And so it was a little terrifying because I was like, oh my gosh, what if Trisha sells out of it? What if there's none left? Of course, I mean, that's just ridiculous. But nonetheless, I was a little bit panicky. And we were in Blacksburg when I got the notification that Trisha had uploaded her market stuff to Etsy. And so, like, I'm sitting at lunch with Danny ordering. Anyway, so I only got 2 things at first because no chart should travel alone, especially not the one thing that made me buy something from Market. And that is the Peacock Keeper by Lindy Stitches. I watched Stephanie's market preview video and fell head over heels in love with this. Absolutely adore this. The colors are insane and stunning. And this being a quote from Willy Wonka, yeah, it's beautiful, and I had to have it. So this is what I went in for. Now, I knew that I was going to be tempted. I knew I was going to be tempted, and I was. And I decided that I needed to get a Blackbird because I am so in love with Blackbird designs right now. It's all I really want to stitch. That and Brenda Gervais. That's all I really want to stitch right now. I'm not, obviously, if you look at what I just showed you, but yeah, it's what I really want to stitch. So I decided to cave and get 1 Blackbird Designs, and I decided to go with the Christmas one. So this is the Bells on Christmas Day, and it has all 5 of these designs in it, and the sampler is what did it for me. It's gorgeous. So gorgeous. I love that this was the market release and it says 2018. That's funny. But that just goes to show you like the timing of everything. So I'm going to flip through real quickly and show you the designs. This is Friendship's Gathering. I love that. I love that little bag too. Something I have noticed about myself, I am looking not only at designs nowadays, but also how the designers are finishing them. Here is a pillow called Singing on Its Way. Love that bird. Yeah, that's gorgeous. That's on Oaken. I think Blackbird and Oaken have are tied up together. This is cool. I love this finish. This is the Unbroken Song. And it's done in this little glass box. And I read somewhere about this box, and I can't remember what it was that I read or where it was, but there was something about this box somewhere. Great story, Jess. Okay, and then we have Wild and Sweet. Looks like a little needle book. Here is here it is fanned out. Gorgeous. And then the sampler is a reproduction. Is it? No, it's not. Oh, okay. So all of the designs in this book are based on this original sampler. This is Anne Morris, 1836. Most of y'all already know this. I'm not talking anything new. So most of these designs in this book were pulled based on this. So like, for instance, this portion is awfully reminiscent of the alphabet on the sampler. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Love this. So, yeah, loving Blackbird, and I think that's Oaken too. I think this whole book is Oaken. Anyway, doesn't matter. Love this. Absolutely gorgeous. So, I got those two things and I was content. I was happy with my market purchases. I had participated in the market madness, and I restrained myself. At this point, I was in the positive for Stitch from Stash, so I was feeling really good. Like, I'm in the positive, and I got some market things, and it doesn't make any sense for me to go absolutely hog wild because I'm not starting anything. And then somebody posted this on Instagram and they'd started it, and goodness, if I didn't run out and order it as quickly as possible, because I know that this is just, it's like the ultimate popular design, at least one of them anyway, from this year's market. And so finding a copy, I don't want to say it's impossible, but it's just, it's gotten kind of difficult. So anyway, the Blue Flower Quilting Bee. Yeah, I mean, I was in love with this when we first saw the previews from Janine. I was even further in love with it when Michelle showed it. And then seeing somebody start it, I couldn't not. I couldn't not. So I ordered this from a new to me shop because I just hit Google. I knew that 123 didn't have it, and I knew that Trisha didn't have it. So I hit Google, and I think I checked Gulf Coast Stitches, and she didn't have any either. And an Etsy shop popped up having a copy, and I'm going to link them in the description box. So I ordered this Saturday afternoon. And I had a shipping notice within 30 minutes. And it was in my hands Monday. And there's no business. There's no shipping business going on Sundays. And it came from Texas. Like, I don't know how she magicked this into my hand, but I was super grateful. Yeah, that was outstanding. I would never expect that. So, yeah, got this on Monday. And I'm excited about it, and I'm going to have to put it deep in the stash so that I don't start it now, because I want to. Definitely want to. Beautiful. I have one more market purchase that I need to make, and that is the Scarlet House in a Perfect World. I can't deny that pattern. I love it. It's beautiful. I love the sentiment. It's totally me. And so I'm going to need to get that. I won't start it for a while, not only because of no new starts, but because like everybody's starting it, and that kind of for me. But I will definitely have to get a hold of that because I love that. It's just gorgeous. So yeah, market got me, but that's all right. I still have a couple months here to get myself out of the hole that I have now put myself in, but it's okay. It's all good. I didn't go absolutely bonkers. I came this close to ordering Elizabeth Weston from Hands Across the Sea. This close. But I didn't. Because realistically speaking, am I actually going to stitch it? I don't know. But man, do I love I don't know. Anyway, I held off, and if it becomes impossible to find, then I know. Like, I'm just not meant to have it, and it's okay. Okay, that's enough about the haul. Let's move into some of our other crafty things. Okay, first up we're going to talk diamond painting. Real brief. And before I lose some of you, this is not going to take over. It is not going to become my new thing. I'm not going to be diamond painting more than I stitch. I'm not going to have multiple projects on the go. This is great for if I don't feel like thinking. This is great for if I'm really bored because the project I'm stitching on is miles of one color. But that's kind of it for me. Like, this is not going to be my new hobby. This is not going to be my new favorite thing. Okay, I bought this kit months ago. A long time ago. I ordered it from Paint with Diamonds, I think. And it got to me, I think, within 3 weeks. It was pretty quick. Shipping from China, I believe. And I put it away because I thought that I was going to need all of the things. I was going to need an easel and a light box and some way to organize the drills, and I was going to need the setup. And so I put it away, put it out of my head, and never showed it to you guys because I had no intentions of doing it. So fast forward to a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, I was watching a video from Stitchin' Mommy, Sarah, and she was talking about her having an art design diamond painting. And then I went back and looked at the organization that she had purchased for her diamond painting. And I ordered it immediately because it's fabulous. So here is one of my cases for this project that I'm doing. And this is by Aneko. I will link them in the description box. I ordered it through Amazon, and I think I got 8 of these, and they each hold 28 little boxes. I think for $20, I think. So really reasonable, and came from Amazon, so it was here within like 3.5 minutes, seemingly. Each of the little boxes holds 4 of the little packets of drills. And so the whole case has snaps. And then each of these, they're all connected. They don't snap apart or anything, but they're all connected. And they open individually. So this was awesome. This is exactly the kind of organization that I needed to be able to do this. I didn't really want to invest in one of those fancy bead cases for this because, first of all, those are like $25 a piece. And this would last me for like 3 or 4 projects. So I'm wondering if I got 6 or 8. I think I got 8. I've got my leftovers sitting over there on the table. Anyway, so I got this, and it arrived on Sunday because Amazon delivers on Sundays. And I'm not going to snap that close because I know it'll be loud. And I was like, I'm just going to get it organized. I waited too long to have lunch, and so I was super shaky, so I thought, I'm going to work on organizing this. So I get done organizing it, and I'm like, well, I might as well just start. And so I did. I started it on Sunday. And I did 3 diagonals worth before I was like, okay, I've got to step back here. So let me show you the project. I can't remember what it's called. Like I said, I got it from Paint with Diamonds. And I also, 60 by 40. There it is. I couldn't remember what the size was. Because I'm not going to do this like little smalls, the 15 by 20s. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do the partials. What gets me into this is the sparkle, the speed, and the full coverage. And also the detail. So I knew I had to get a bigger one so that I could get some better detail. But I didn't want to go to the biggest size available, which I don't even remember what it was at the time. Like I said, I ordered this months ago. But I thought, if I'm going to do one, if I'm going to give this a try, it should be something that I am willing to hang in my house when it's finished. And this is really pretty. It's kind of a spring or autumn morning with the sunlight cascading. I love it. I do love the design. However, I am underwhelmed. If I'm being honest, I'm underwhelmed. So let me show you where I've gotten to. So I love the sparkle, but the detail, it's kind of leaving a little bit to be desired. I'm used to full coverage stitching and having an art design stitching and it being detailed, and this is not quite doing it for me. I'm gonna keep going. I mean, I've got this far, so I might as well just keep going and see what happens. But I'm underwhelmed. So there's that. And maybe I got something that was too abstract or too detailed in the artwork to translate to diamond painting. But I'm underwhelmed. So I'll keep going on it. I have a couple of others in my wish list. I'd like to do a Hogwarts Castle one because I'm not going to stitch. If y'all like them, that's awesome. That's awesome. I don't care for the house crests that Heaven and Earth Designs has charted. I don't love them. It's just not, it's not my aesthetic. It's not my vision of the house crest. But the Hogwarts Castle, I've seen several pre-designed diamond paintings that I like. I'm apprehensive though. So that's something that I would like to do because I'd like to have Hogwarts. And then also I have a Josephine Wall design that I think would be gorgeous in diamond painting. So, and that is massive. It's so big. I don't even know if I can get a canvas of that size. It's not a super size or anything, but it's massive. And that's something that I'm going to have to think about and work up to and whatnot. Anyway, so that's diamond painting. I'm not going to update that every week. The next time I update might be when I get the row done or when I decide to check it or whatever. It's not going to be a thing for me. So it's a short-term thing for me. It's not my hobby. My hobby is cross stitch and knitting and braiding and magical stitches, but you know. Anyway. Okay, so let's do knitting next. I'm just going to update you on the project that I was working on last time because I haven't knit since. So this is living in my Loopy Academy canvas bag. I got this for completing a semester of Loopy Academy way back when. I don't know if they're still doing that. And I was working on my 3-color cashmere shawl by Joji Locatelli. Thank you to everybody who put in your votes for the color that I should use for my pop of color. I decided to go with the pink. Couple of reasons. The first of which being that it was already balled up. It was already ready to go. I didn't have to pull out my Swift and ball winder. And also, I do really like the contrast. So I will use Hill Valley for something else. And this has got enough gray and cream for me that I'll wear it. So I'm not worried. So I finished up the stripes. I had 1 stripe of each color left to do. And then I talked about maybe doing like a repeat of the textured section before putting it down. And so that's what I did. So I did a repeat. And you're not going to be able to see it too well, I don't think. But there are pearl bumps in there. It'll be much more visible once I'm further along in that section. I might have to move this to my 50-inch cable because I think I'm running out of rope pretty quick here. But this project goes away. So then I hit random number generator and it pulled my other Joji Locatelli shawl, my starting point wrap, but I haven't knit on it. I pulled it out, I got it organized. I just haven't worked on it. I've had the brain space for stitching, and that's pretty much it. I did a little reading, and I did a little bit of knitting, and I did a little bit of diamond painting, but stitching has just been sort of the proverbial cane that I have leaned on this week. So that is that. And that is everything that I have to show you today. This is longer than I thought it was going to be. What's new? Anyway, so nonetheless, thank y'all for watching. If you're new here, I hope that you enjoyed what you saw, and I hope you come back next time. If you are a returning viewer, then thank you ever so much. I'm sorry for the jarring change of scenery as far as my thumbnail is concerned, but hopefully it will become the new normal in the weeks and months to come. And that is everything. I've got a lot of stitching to do, so I better head off here. Happy stitching, everybody. As always, be kind, and I